The moment you stop explaining yourself, something shifts instantly, and they feel it before they even understand it. Because people are used to access, they're used to reactions. They're used to reading you like an open book they never had to earn. You answered quickly, clarified everything, made sure there was no confusion, no tension, no unanswered questions. And without realizing it, you trained them to expect certainty from you. You trained them to feel safe because they always knew where they stood. But the moment that pattern breaks, even slightly, their mind doesn't stay calm. It spirals. They notice the delay, the shorter response, the missing explanation. And suddenly, something that used to feel predictable doesn't anymore. That's when the shift begins. Because when you explain less, you remove clarity. And when clarity disappears, control follows it. Now they don't know where they stand with you. And that uncertainty creates tension they can't ignore. They start replaying your last interaction, searching for hidden meaning. Was that intentional? Did something change? Are they pulling away? And the more they think, the less control they feel, because certainty is comfortable. But silence is unpredictable. Most people can only stay calm when they feel in control, when they believe they understand you. But the moment you stop giving them that understanding, their confidence starts cracking. They begin filling in the gaps with their own fears. Maybe I said too much. Maybe they're losing interest. Maybe I messed this up. And now, instead of you chasing clarity, they are. This is where everything reverses. Because the one who seeks clarity is the one without control. The one who explains is the one trying to be understood. But the one who stays silent becomes the one everyone tries to figure out. And people are addicted to figuring things out, especially when they feel like they're losing their grip on someone. That's why silence isn't passive, it's pressure. It forces the other person to sit with uncertainty. And most people can't handle that for long. They need resolution, they need reassurance. They need something to stabilize their thoughts, but you give them nothing. And that nothing becomes everything in their mind. Because now they're investing energy into you without getting anything back. They start watching you more closely. Your timing, your words, your absence, every small detail becomes amplified. And the less you react, the more they react internally. This is the shift most people never understand. They think power comes from saying the right thing, from explaining perfectly, from proving their point, but that only keeps them in a reactive position. Because the more you explain, the more you reveal. And the more you reveal, the easier you are to predict. Predictable people are easy to read, and easy to read means easy to control. But when you become less predictable, you become harder to place, harder to define, harder to emotionally manage. And when someone can't emotionally manage you, they start overthinking. That overthinking turns into tension, and that tension turns into obsession. Because the brain doesn't like unfinished situations. It wants closure, it wants certainty, it wants resolution. But you remove all three, and now their mind is stuck in a loop, trying to solve something that has no clear answer. They might reach out more, ask indirect questions, test your behavior, push boundaries just to get a reaction. Because any reaction from you, even a small one, gives them relief. It gives them data. It helps them rebuild a sense of control. But when you don't react, when you stay grounded, calm, and slightly out of reach, that's when the tension peaks. Because now they're stuck between two realities. One where everything is fine, and one where everything is falling apart. And they don't know which one is true. That uncertainty is what destabilizes them, because humans don't fear silence. They fear what silence might mean. Rejection, indifference, loss of interest. And when you don't confirm or deny anything, their mind defaults to the worst-case scenario. That's why silence creates emotional spikes. It forces people to confront their own insecurities without any guidance. And most people are not prepared for that. They rely on external feedback to regulate how they feel. So when you remove that feedback, they lose stability. And once someone feels unstable around you, their behavior changes. They become more attentive or more reactive, more careful or more impulsive, more invested or more desperate, but never neutral. Because neutrality requires certainty. And you've removed that completely. This is why the moment you stop explaining yourself, you don't lose people. You reveal them. You see who needs constant reassurance, who depends on control, who can't handle not being the one who understands everything. And most importantly, who starts to panic when they can't read you anymore, because calm people don't chase clarity. Only uncertain people do. So when someone suddenly starts overthinking you, watching you more closely, reacting to things that aren't even there, That's not random. That's a response to your silence. That's a response to losing access to your inner world. And once someone realizes they don't fully understand you anymore, they have two choices: lean back or lean in. But most don't lean back. They lean in harder. Because not knowing feels like losing. And losing control over someone they once understood feels like a threat they can't ignore, so they try to regain it. Subtly at first, then more obviously. More messages, more attention, more effort. All driven by one thing: the need to feel certain again. But you don't give them that. You stay just out of reach. Just enough presence to be felt, but not enough to be fully understood. And that balance, that controlled distance, is what keeps them thinking about you. Long after the conversation ends, long after the moment passes, because unresolved thoughts don't disappear, they loop again and again and again. And the less closure you give, the longer that loop runs. That's how attention is built. Not through constant communication, but through controlled absence. Because when you're always available, you become predictable. And when you're predictable, you become easy to replace. But when your presence feels selective, measured, intentional, you become something else entirely. Something harder to define, harder to read, harder to forget. And people don't obsess over what they understand. They obsess over what they can't fully figure out. So the moment you stop explaining yourself, you don't create distance, you create depth, you create tension. You create a space in their mind that keeps pulling them back in. And once they fall into that space, they don't just think about you, they overthink you. They replay moments, reanalyze conversations, question their assumptions, trying to find something solid, something certain. But there's nothing to hold on to, only the feeling you left behind. And feelings without clarity last longer than facts ever do. That's why they can't let it go. That's why they keep coming back. Because the mind would rather chase uncertainty than accept a reality it can't fully understand. And as long as you remain calm, controlled, and slightly out of reach, you stay in that space, unresolved, undefined, and unforgettable. And that's the moment everything flips. Because now, you're not reacting to them anymore. They're reacting to you. And that changes everything. If you want to master this level of calm, control, and silent power, subscribe now.